Good morning, friends, and welcome to a snowy December garden walk and talk. Today I'm going to be showing you the back garden as well as taking you inside my home for an amaryllis and paperwhite tour. So let's start here in the hydrangea room. About a week ago, I cut back all of my hydrangeas and I decided to take those cuttings and put them on this green giant tree that you see through Hummingbird Way. Last year we did a very elaborate dried flower Christmas tree that I adorned with bird cups filled with bird seed and also birdhouse gourds. And you can see some birds down below there, so maybe I'll stand at a distance for a second. The reason why I decided not to do the cups this year is because since we get so much moisture, whether that be snow or rain, the seed in the cups were getting wet almost the day after I put them out, and I was just a little bit worried about the birds' safety. So I'll show you what I did instead. And truth be told, I need my husband's help to get up a little bit higher in the tree to get that last strand of hydrangea garland up. But yes, I do see some birds around. I gave a lot of the gourds to my mom, and she painted them with leather dye, or I guess I should say she dyed them with leather dye. So instead of the cups, I made these pine cone peanut butter and bird seed ornaments, and I wired those onto the tree. Hopefully that will be better and safer for the birds. I really loved the way that the bird cups looked, but I was just really concerned about having soaking wet food out here for them that I wasn't really able to change out daily. You can see some birds visiting us right here. I also added to these pots since you visited the garden last. I decided to cut back my red twig dogwood and my yellow twig dogwood all the way back to the ground. I did a rejuvenation prune on those shrubs, and so I used all of those cuttings in these 6 pots from Henry's studio. And then we have some Nellie Stevens holly, some cryptomeria, and some steeplechase arborvitae in those pots. Boy, it's really coming down now, friends, isn't it? I wonder if it's gonna stick or if it's just all gonna melt as the day goes on. So we can head into the garden library now. And as we approach the door, you really get that wonderful fragrance of eucalyptus. On this tree, I used willow, baby blue, and silver dollar eucalyptus. I received 2 beautiful eucalyptus garlands from Jackson and Perkins. I put one on the mantle, and then the other one I took apart in pieces and I put it all over this tree. And I'm really enjoying the browns and the baby blues together. Kind of matches this chair that I got from a consignment store. I will never forget the day when I found this chair at a consignment store for $20, and this elderly gentleman helped me strap it into the trunk of my car. I can't believe I didn't get pulled over that day, but I will never forget that gentleman who helped me. So I really don't have much on the tree, just some pine cone ornaments and those classic icicles. I did a lot of copper bows, and then the only other thing I added in was pussy willow, just to add in one more natural element from the garden. And then if I swing us around to the mantle, the same exact thing, that beautiful eucalyptus garland, bringing in some of the pussy willow and a nice big bow with 6 new candlesticks, and then just a little bit of eucalyptus on top. So I think that's pretty much all of our outside garden updates. So now let's head inside and see some beautiful amaryllis in bloom. I did steal some hydrangeas from this garden also in making that gourd Christmas tree. And I'm not sure if I showed you that I moved our flower lady over here. I like her so much better over here in the driveway garden. And I also would love to update you on the amaryllis projects that we did together. So let's start by taking a look at that waxed amaryllis wreath that we made about a month ago. I took 3 ruby star amaryllis, dipped them in cheese wax, and I attached the first one to this beautiful wreath that I got from Jackson and Perkins. I just attached the bulb to the wreath with 16 gauge copper wire, tied a bow around it for extra security, and now it's in bloom. And isn't it darling? I just love this variety, and I think it's the perfect amaryllis for this wreath. Now moving on from that, we have my all-time favorite amaryllis, Magical Touch. This comes to us from the Netherlands from a very, very famous breeder named Ton Peter van Nieuwerk, I believe is how you say his name. He's bred a lot of the amaryllis that you're going to see on the market today. So I have 5 of those in an old pot. Now down here, we had all of those red waxed amaryllis. I think I showed you those. I decided to go ahead and cut the stems of those amaryllis. This variety is called Minerva. And I put about 8 stems in this antique clay pot. And I've set that on a platter that belongs to my mom. She said I could keep that through the Christmas season. So that's awesome. Coming up from that, we have Nymph. Ton also did breed Nymph. And this is the original from the Nymph series. Such a beautiful variety. Let me see, is it focusing? There we go. Beautiful white color, a little bit of candy cane striping towards the center. And I have 3 of those bulbs in this old stone pot, surrounded by some of my favorite artwork. If I need to stake any of my amaryllis, I like to use peony cage leg. So I just disassemble the peony cage, take the leg, insert it right behind the stem of the amaryllis, and then I like to use waxed dental floss because that's very gentle on the amaryllis stem to help it stay upright. Sometimes I use ribbon. Over here we have a couple more. Over here next to the record player we have Exposure, Ferrari, and Rapido will probably open tomorrow, so I'm sorry we missed that one. I'm really enjoying Exposure. It's this beautiful pink and white amaryllis with a green center. Ferrari is just your standard red amaryllis, but it does go to a nice deep red towards the center, and it's a nice open face amaryllis, so I like that. Rapido really just looks like Red Lion. Now as we go into the dining room, I do have my grandma's bells playing, so you'll hear that in the background. I'll do a more elaborate floral display as we get closer to Christmas, probably on Christmas Eve. Over here we have another Ruby Star Amaryllis in bloom. This one is also one of the bulbs that we encased in cheese wax. I think you might be able to see the color a little bit better over here by this window. And right next to that is the boxwood tree that we made with the 2 potatoes. I do have 2 vases of paper whites. They've started to bloom, so I think they should be in full bloom for Christmas. At least I hope so. This variety is Nur, N-I-R, and the one behind us is Ziva. I did break out the amaryllis china for Christmas. And over here by our coffee bar, we have our amaryllis Christmas tree, which is adorned with white candle amaryllis that are inserted into water tubes. I have my grandma's Christmas bells playing. And we have 2 amaryllis over here that I really love. Arctic Nymph is not in bloom yet, but this one is a new variety from Israel called Glee. I think it just came onto the market in 2022, and man, is this a beautiful one. I definitely want to order more Glee bulbs next year. The amaryllis that I have on the tree are lasting about a week in water tubes. And whenever I take them off, my daughter always asks where the white flowers are, so I try to keep the tree full of amaryllis at all times. And in terms of the amaryllis chandelier that we made together, I don't currently have enough amaryllis to put more amaryllis on the chandelier. And you know, honestly, it kind of dried out within maybe 4 days. So I might put fresh greens in that for Christmas because it's currently Sunday. and I am hosting Christmas this year. Here in the kitchen, I did some cut amaryllis and paper whites. Once again, we have that beautiful nymph amaryllis. Down below that, Arctic nymph, and just some Ziva paper whites right here. And I did take note of a post that one of you sent me on Instagram where you put a bunch of slices in the stem of an amaryllis and then swirl them around in the bottom of a vase. And I do think that looks kind of fun and different. And I wanted to see if that decreased the vase life of an amaryllis if you did that. So I will definitely keep you posted on how these hold up. The Aquaro bulb that we encased in dried lavender isn't blooming yet, but I think it might open in time for Christmas because we still have 3 days left. So I just wanted to show you what that looked like. And I really love getting that smell of the dried lavender when I come into this room. Well, friends, thank you so much for joining me for this December garden walk and talk. I want to wish you all a wonderful holiday season, and I will see you sometime very soon. Bye, friends.
Gracie, would you like to say Merry Christmas to everybody? Did you take another bow off the tree? Should we show them what it looks like now? Say, look out the window, guys. So much more snow now. Gracie, you're half in and you're half out. What's going on here?